I wanted to share some of my standby paints that I have on my palette, and then two or three of my fun kind of favorites. So first we'll start with the standbys that are almost always on my palette, and the first is Cadmium Red. This is pretty much Cadmium Yellow Medium. And the cadmiums usually will come in a range from light, medium, and dark. And there's also cadmium orange, I've even seen cadmium green. But this is my standby, yellow. And sometimes I use cadmium light, which is a cooler and lighter value than the cadmium medium, which is warmer. My standard blue is ultramarine blue, and sometimes I would have cobalt blue instead, but this is pretty much my standard. This is Payne's gray, and I don't use it on every painting, but I use it enough that I wanted to show you. If it's pretty much in the blue family, but it's very dark. It makes good blacks, and it's kind of transparent. It also, if you mixed it with the cadmium yellow, would make a nice green that's good for landscapes. I also use a lot of Vermillion green, which is a very cool green. And then the last one that's pretty basic that I almost always have on my palette is a transparent earth orange. And sometimes I've used transparent earth brown, but you know, there's different names: oxide, earth orange, but it's usually a transparent, so it's not like burnt sienna, even though it's in the same family as far as probably what it's made out of, but which is like iron oxide. But this one actually says transparent orange iron oxide. So this one I use for a lot of underpaintings. I use it for the branches on my trees. I will mix it with the Payne's gray to make a really good black, or the ultramarine blue. If I'm using ultramarine blue on my palette, I usually don't have Payne's gray on my palette. I usually only have Payne's gray on my palette if I'm using a really light colored blue and I need another dark, like so if I'm using a cerulean blue or a cobalt blue, then I might have this on my palette if I need something really dark. Alright, so I don't have a standard red on my palette because that's the one color that I switch out so often. I use like 3 or 4 different ones. So that's my most variable of the primary colors. So for fun, okay, this is just another ultramarine blue. So I use different brands. This one's Williamsburg and this one's Old Holland. And so for fun, I wanted to show, this is a cerulean blue, and I just really like this color. Williamsburg's cerulean blue is a little gritty. They like to grind, instead of grinding everything to the same consistency, they like to grind things to bring out different properties in the paints. So I really like the grittiness of this. So this is one of my favorite brands of the cerulean blue. I've tried different ones: Gamblin, Holbein, Old Holland, but this one's my favorite. And then 2 more fun colors I'll show you. Let me go get them. Okay. This is just a metallic gold, and this one's by Williamsburg again, but there's other brands. And it's not something that it's kind of a standalone one-off type deal, and it's just a metallic gold. It's nice for special effects, really. But I wouldn't even use this if I were painting like a gold silverware or something with gold on it. I probably wouldn't even use this. It's just more for fun. It's literally like sparkly, shimmery gold. If you think, I think of what's it called, the Klimt. I'm not even saying it right. With a gold background, that's what it reminds me of. Okay, and then the last one I wanted to show you was Chinese Vermillion by Holbein. And this is the only brand I know that has this exact property of Chinese Vermillion, and it's quite expensive. This is a small tube. One thing I do like about Holbein is they do have these tiny tubes if you want to try a paint or if you just need a small amount. It's especially nice when they're expensive, because this tiny tube was $32, and I think that was on sale. So, the full size one's going to be probably $70. And, but it's very unique. And I'll talk about some of the properties. So here I added some of the Payne's gray into the transparent earth orange, and that makes my black, my very dark black. And as you can see how black it is on my panel. And now I'm adding some white to my transparent earth orange. And maybe you can already see the wide range of colors I'm getting from these basic colors. I also, above the Payne's gray, I mixed some of the yellow into it, and that's what gave me that really warm green color. I just put down some of the cerulean blue. It's really pretty right out of the tube. And again, this isn't what I would consider my basic blue, but it's a fun one that I really like to work with. And both this cerulean blue and the vermilion Chinese red are kind of considered weak in their strength as far as when you try to mix them. They're really pretty right out of the tube, but when you mix them, they make a lot of nice, soft, muted grays, and they just have a very toned down effect, which is very soothing. Alright, here's my metallic gold. And I don't know if you can see the shimmer in it. It's kind of, I'm adding quite a bit of oil to it just to get it the consistency, and then some of the thinner. So I'm just putting it on kind of thin there. And if you can't see the reflection, I think I'm going to put some on my brush, and then maybe you can see it a little bit. Okay, that was fun. It's very sparkly right on my my panel. Okay, this is the Chinese red or vermilion by Holbein. it's a very old color. It's not made very, a lot of people don't use it. I think it has mercury maybe in it. So it's kind of toxic maybe. So it's quite rare, but it was used in a lot of the old paintings that you see in museums. And here I'm mixing it, and you can see how it almost disappears in just a little bit of white. And look, it's almost gone. It has almost no strength against the white. But it does make a very nice warm pink. I'm just laying it next to the yellow to compare. And I also put it straight out of the tube next to the Vermillion green, just so you can see those two next to each other. I'm adding some of the ultramarine blue to make a violet, like a lavender really, because there's so much white in it. It's kind of a cool muted purpley color. And then I'm going to do the same with the cerulean. Just mix that with the cerulean blue and white. I'll lay that right next to the other, and you can see this one's quite a bit warmer. The cerulean blue lifts warmer. Alright, that was fun. Thanks for watching. So I hope you enjoyed learning more about some of the paints on my palette and some of my fun paints.